This is your WGBW Daily News Roundup for the Talk of Green Bay, 97.9 FM and 1590 AM.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. Leaders at the UW-Milwaukee say losing federal pandemic money is the reason why they're closing their two-year branch campus in Waukesha. Chancellor Mark Moen says the cost of operations is going up, but revenue has been cut in half. Waukesha will be the fifth two-year branch campus to close in Wisconsin at the end of the spring semester next year. The Wisconsin Senate meets for the final scheduled time of the session today. Some of the bills expected to pass are a ban on so-called diversity loyalty pledges at state universities, easing immunization requirements at state universities, and clamping down on human trafficking. A package of proposed new laws aims to make life safer for judges and justices in Wisconsin. The state Senate votes today. Waushara County Judge Guy Dutcher says it's a start.
I will applaud the legislature and the governor for taking a significant step in recognizing the vulnerability of the decision makers in the third branch of government, but much more still needs to be done.
Dutcher with WISN TV's Up Front, 142 judges and justices got threats last year. Governor Evers wants another $125 million to help Wisconsin communities hit hardest by PFAS pollution. He says he plans to veto a Republican bill with that much money for PFAS cleanup, but he also says the bill strips too much enforcement power from regulators. Republican lawmakers are approving a shortened list of instructional materials for students to learn reading in Wisconsin next year. The legislature's Joint Finance Committee voted along party lines for 4 curricula. The Department of Public Instruction had proposed 11. A new state law requires methods for teaching reading that stress phonics. More than 1,000 Americans still die from COVID-19 each week, but now the CDC says people who test positive no longer have to isolate. Krista Durkiza is with the advocacy group Marked by COVID.
These types of changes undermine the severity of what we continue to face. So it's critically important that we keep this on the forefront.
As many as 20 million Americans live with long COVID, often with debilitating symptoms. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Now here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. The combined reward for information in the disappearance of 3-year-old Elijah Vu is increased to $40,000. Two Rivers Police said in a statement Monday that $15,000 now comes from donations made through the city of Two Rivers. Manitowoc Crime Stoppers is offering $10,000 reward, and the FBI is offering a $15,000 reward. Elijah was reported missing exactly 3 weeks ago today on February 20th. The average gas price in Wisconsin is $3.22, down about 9 cents a gallon from last week. According to Gas Buddy, the price for a gallon of gas in Green Bay ranges from $3.14 to $3.19, while the price in Oshkosh ranges from $3.14 to $3.17. Gas prices in Appleton average about $3.22 per gallon. Gas prices surged about 30 cents a gallon last week as a result of the change to summer blends, low supply, and rising demand that comes with warmer weather. Orange construction cones and zones will affect drivers between Appleton and Green Bay this spring. Construction to expand I-41 to 6 lanes of traffic between Appleton and De Pere is set to begin April 1st. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation says 4 lanes of traffic will remain open during peak hours. Work is expected to take 4 years. A virtual meeting on the project will be held this evening. In-person meetings are also scheduled this week. Richard Saka is convicted of 2 counts of first-degree intentional homicide for the deaths of Rhonda Selesky and Paula O'Connor in Green Bay in early 2023. The criminal complaint says he admitted to killing the women because he felt humiliated by them. Saka faces 2 mandatory life prison terms when sentenced on May 20th. A member of the Menominee Indian Tribe of Wisconsin is sentenced to 36 months in prison for felony child neglect and maintaining a drug-involved residence. 32-year-old Louis Chevalier pleaded guilty to the charges in December. Court records state that a 3-year-old child in his care tested positive for multiple controlled substances and had extensive dental decay from neglect and drug exposure that required surgery to repair. Green Bay residents can learn more about possible boundary scenarios connected to the consolidation of several Green Bay schools. Public meetings will be held today at 12:15 p.m. at 6 p.m. at the Neville Public Museum Auditorium. District officials say boundary adjustments and the consequent school closings that come with them are necessary as Green Bay deals with declining enrollment numbers across the district. Area counties have more time to apply for a federal disaster loan program if they suffered losses due to this year's unusually mild winter. That winter lacked typical snowfall in many areas of the state. Most counties have until July 31st to apply. The deadline for Door County is September 26th. Florence, Forest, and Marinette counties have until November 27th. Businesses can submit applications through the Small Business Administration. And that's what you need to know. I'm Lisa Hale, WGBW News.
It's the Brewers and the Cubs. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Brewers and Chicago Cubs face off again. This time at Sloan Park in Mesa, Arizona. Brewers outfielder Garrett Mitchell back after sliding headfirst into third base last year, requiring shoulder surgery.
It was tough. Obviously not being out there every day with the team is not always the easiest, but I was able to get through it. That's kind of what I use the injury as, so it's like just kind of treating each day as a new opportunity to get a little bit better and try to get back out there.
NFL, the Packers making moves in free agency. They signed Raiders running back Josh Jacobs to a 4-year deal worth $48 million. On defense, they added Giants safety Xavier McKinney with a 4-year contract worth $68 million, an average of $17 million per year. The Packers saying goodbye to running back Aaron Jones and left tackle David Bakhtiari. GM Brian Gutekunst releasing a statement thanking them both for their time in Green Bay. College basketball, the Wisconsin Badgers headed to Minneapolis for the Big Ten tournament. As the number 5 seed, they host either Maryland or Rutgers Thursday afternoon. NBA, the Bucks wrap up their West Coast trip tonight against the Kings in Sacramento. Doc Rivers was asked,
"What do you think as far as being appointed in this position as the head coach of Milwaukee? What is your philosophy?"
Well, the philosophy is win.
Yes.
That's why you jump into something like this. But it was with the right group of guys, honestly. Again, I keep using the words adults, very mature, and at a place where they all want to win. If we can get it right, which I think we will, I believe that, then we're going to be very tough to beat.
That's Bucks head coach Doc Rivers. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On the Showbiz Beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. The 2024 Oscars are in the books, and it really was a great year for movies. But as usual, the weirdest clothes you've ever seen and would never wear were on display in force. John Cena took the stage in Birkenstocks and a piece of cardboard. Most people probably couldn't even remember what Oscar he was presenting and were focused on how much room there was to spare behind the cardboard and John Cena Jr. The award was for Best Costume Design. Get it? Cena somehow looked more presentable than pop star Ariana Grande, who wore a dress designed by Bubble Yum. Her outfit had sleeves so puffy and big they had their own area code. It was a definite attention getter and probably seemed like a great idea until she left the theater and a gust of wind carried her all the way to Orange County. She was found safe, the sleeves were deflated, and she was returned to Hollywood, but she did miss all the after parties. The sleeves have a new gig covering the infield at Dodger Stadium during rain delays. 2024's big Oscar winners Sunday night included Best Actress Emma Stone for the film Poor Things, Best Actor Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, Best Supporting Actor Robert Downey Jr. also for Oppenheimer, Best Supporting Actress Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers, Best Director Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, and Oppenheimer also took home Best Picture. One of the night's highlights included a Mean Girl tweet, which was directed at host Jimmy Kimmel from Donald Trump. Kimmel read the tweet out loud once he realized that the former president set him up beautifully and better than any comedy writer ever could have. The message insinuated that Kimmel was the worst host ever, to which he responded, "I'm surprised you're up this late. Isn't it past your jail time?" As you can imagine, the crowd roared. Walked into that one. It's an election season off-screen and on. For those of you who are fans of Oscar-nominated director Alexander Payne, you have something to look forward to. Payne announced he will direct Tracy Flick Can't Win, a sequel to his critically acclaimed comedy Election from 1999. Reese Witherspoon has signed on, and Payne would like Matthew Broderick, who played opposite Witherspoon, but there is no news yet on the leading man front. Payne's most recent film, Holdovers, was nominated for Best Picture at this year's Oscars. Speaking of the Oscars, I'm not really a fashion guy, but I never was a fan of the men's suit look that utilized the skinny jean flood pant vibe. However, after seeing what dudes wore at this year's Academy Awards, I totally retract. Watching grown men take the stage in what could only be described as mom jeans with bell bottoms, I say, bring back the floods. Just how belly were the bottoms? It looked like these guys were smuggling actual bells. Not to mention, if there is ever an actual flood, they're all goners. Maybe I am a fashion guy after all. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, every night between 7 and 9 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
It is going to be sunny and warm again today and just a little breezy at times. And with all that and all the dry stuff that's laying around out there, that we will have an elevated grassland fire risk again today. So keep that in mind and just be careful with fire today. Our high 69, wind will be southwest 10 to 20. Tonight down to 36 tomorrow. Mostly sunny with a high near 60. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Right now it's 48.
That's your WGBW Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at WGBW.FM.